The Silent Guardians. For 500 years, Earth had been nothing but a cautionary tale in the grand archives of the Galactic Coalition. A dead world, they said. The birthplace of humanity. A species that had shown such promise before turning their weapons upon themselves in what their own historians had named the Severance. Coalition surveys confirmed what everyone believed. Earth was a radioactive graveyard. Its once vibrant biosphere poisoned, its people extinct. Admiral Thelos of the Coalition science vessel, Endless Discovery, stood before the massive viewport, the blue-green orb of Earth reflecting in his 4 crystalline eyes. The Liridian officer's translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that betrayed his unease. "Play it again," he ordered, mandibles clicking softly. His communications officer, a serpentine Nexrith named Celia, activated the recording they'd intercepted 3 standard days ago. The message that had brought them across 16 light-years of space in record time. Static crackled through the bridge speakers before resolving into a clear, calm human voice. To all sentient civilizations of the greater Orion Arm, this message serves as both warning and invitation. Earth stands vigilant. War comes at a price you'll regret. We learned this truth through fire. You need not repeat our lesson. Coordinates for safe approach follow. Origin confirmed. Thelos asked, though he already knew the answer. Verified, Admiral. Celia replied, her scales shifting from violet to a troubled blue. The transmission originated from Earth's northern hemisphere, from what was once called Iceland. The signal used quantum entanglement principles we've only theorized. Thelos' second-in-command, a massive Eurolon named Kreb, rumbled from his station. Impossible. Our last survey confirmed Earth was uninhabitable. Radiation alone would prevent survival, let alone technological advancement beyond our own capabilities. Nevertheless, Thelos said, someone is broadcasting from Earth, and whoever they are, they've mastered communication technology that shouldn't exist. The Admiral's decision was already made before he announced it. Prepare a diplomatic team. We make planetfall at the provided coordinates in 6 hours. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, sensors scanning continually. What they revealed contradicted everything the Coalition knew about the planet. While vast swathes of land remained barren and scarred, other regions showed signs of recovery. Forests reclaiming once devastated continents, oceans healing from centuries of pollution. More shocking were the structures they detected beneath the surface, vast networks of subterranean facilities, shielded from orbital scans by technology that seemed to bend detection itself. As their craft approached the landing coordinates, something strange happened. For a brief moment, every instrument flickered, and the crew felt a peculiar sensation of displacement, as though reality itself had rippled around them. What was that? Thelos demanded. The pilot, a Turabi with 8 limbs working in perfect coordination across the controls, shook her head. Unknown, Admiral. For a fraction of a second, our position shifted approximately 20 meters, then snapped back. Before Thelos could respond, a new transmission came through. Coalition vessel, you have entered protected space. Your approach is approved. Follow the guidance markers to landing platform 7. Outside the viewport, pulses of blue light appeared in the air, forming a path toward a mountain that, as they watched, began to split open, revealing a massive hangar bay. They've been watching us all along, Kreb muttered. Thelos could only nod as the shuttle followed the light path into what should have been an extinct civilization. The diplomatic team emerged from the shuttle into an immaculate hangar larger than the Coalition's primary spaceport on Centauri Prime. The air was cool, clean, and noticeably Earth-normal, the first indication their hosts expected them. The second was the delegation waiting at precisely the right distance for diplomatic first contact protocols. 6 humans in simple gray uniforms with no visible weapons. Their leader stepped forward, a tall woman with dark copper skin and eyes so deeply blue they seemed almost black. Despite 5 centuries of supposed isolation, she spoke perfect Coalition standard. Admiral Thelos, welcome to Earth Sanctuary 9. I am Director Ilara Voss of the Terran Vigilance Network. You're the first coalition representatives to set foot on our world in over 300 years. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. We've been expecting you. Thelos performed the formal coalition greeting. Director Voss, your survival is unexpected. Our records indicate Earth suffered catastrophic damage during the severance. Your records are incomplete, she replied, gesturing for them to follow. We allowed them to be. They walked through corridors carved from the living rock, yet smooth as polished metal. Humans moved purposefully through the facility, paying the alien delegation only passing interest. To Thelos, that lack of curiosity was more unsettling than any hostility might have been. After the severance, Ilara explained as they walked. Those of us who survived faced a choice: reach out to the stars and beg for help, or turn inward and rebuild on our own terms. We chose the latter. But the radiation levels, Kreb began, were severe, she finished for him. Adaptation became necessary for survival. Some of it technological, some biological, something else entirely. They entered what appeared to be a command center. A holographic display dominated the center of the room, showing the solar system with unusual energy patterns flowing between the planets. For 5 centuries, we've rebuilt, Ilara continued, not just our civilization or technology, but our understanding of reality itself. The severance taught us the ultimate price of conflict. It forced us to evolve beyond what you would recognize as human. Thelos studied the holographic display. Your transmission mentioned a warning. What exactly are you warning us about, Director? Ilara touched a control, and the hologram shifted to show a region of space near the Cygnus arm. Within it, several star systems pulsed with an ominous red light. We call them the Void Harvesters, she said. They move through space, consuming everything. Matter, energy, even the fabric of space-time itself. Your coalition has already lost 3 outpost systems to them, though you've classified these as communications failures and spatial anomalies. Celia, who had remained silent until now, hissed softly. How could you possibly know about coalition-classified incidents? Because the severance didn't just nearly destroy our world, Ilara said, her voice dropping lower. It tore open something that should have remained closed. Some of us were exposed to whatever lies beyond normal space-time. She gestured, and the hologram changed to show Earth surrounded by a faint, pulsing field that seemed to bend light around it. We call it the Veil, a dimensional barrier that altered humans helped us develop. It's why your sensors didn't detect our civilization until we chose to be detected. It's why your shuttle experienced that moment of displacement as you approached. And your transmission. Thelos asked, why reveal yourselves now, after hiding for centuries? Ilara's expression hardened, because the Void Harvesters are coming, not just for Earth, but for all life in this galaxy. Our calculations indicate they'll reach Coalition core worlds within 3 standard years. Kreb stepped forward, his massive form towering over the human. If what you say is true, why warn us at all? The Coalition abandoned Earth to its fate after the severance. Ilara's gaze never wavered. Because despite everything, we remember what we once were. Because humanity still believes that life, all life, deserves the chance to survive. She touched another control, and the hologram displayed a strange device, shaped like an interlocking series of rings that pulsed with energy. This is the Nexus Shield. For 3 centuries, we've been developing it as both a defense and communication system that can disrupt the Harvester's consumption patterns. But we lack certain resources to activate it at full capacity. Understanding dawned on Thelos, and the Coalition has these resources. Ilara nodded. Specifically, the quantum resonance crystals that power your deep space relay stations. We need at least 12 of them. Celia's scales flashed crimson with alarm. Those crystals are the foundation of our interstellar communication network. The Council would never. Then the price of refusal will be extinction. Ilara cut in, her voice like steel. "The transmission we sent wasn't just to you. It's being broadcast continuously across all known frequencies, and some you haven't discovered yet. War comes at a price you'll regret. We learned that lesson through near annihilation." She stepped closer to Thelos, close enough that he could see flecks of silver in her impossibly blue eyes. "Now the question is, what price is the Coalition willing to pay? The crystals or everything?" As they returned to their shuttle, Thelos remained silent, his mind racing. If the humans were telling the truth, the entire galaxy faced an unprecedented threat. If they were lying, but why reveal themselves now, after centuries of successful hiding? Aboard the Endless Discovery, Thelos prepared his report to the Coalition Council. He included all data they had gathered: sensor readings of the strange technology humans had developed, recordings of Ilara's warnings, and his own recommendations. As he finished, a final transmission came from Earth. "Admiral Thelos, remember what you've seen here when you stand before your council. Tell them this: humanity stands ready, with or without the Coalition. We faced extinction once and survived. The question is, can the Coalition say the same? You have 1 standard month to respond. After that, we will act alone." The message ended, leaving Thelos staring at the blue-green world below, a world that had never been as dead as everyone believed, a world that might now hold the key to survival for all sentient life in the galaxy. Or perhaps, he thought with a chill running through his translucent body, a world that had learned the art of war all too well. The price of vigilance. The Coalition Council chamber on Centauri Prime fell silent as Admiral Thelos concluded his report. 12 representatives of the most powerful species in the known galaxy sat in a perfect circle, their expressions ranging from disbelief to outright hostility. High Counselor Vex, a meridian whose crystalline body structure refracted light into dazzling patterns, spoke first. "You expect us to believe that humans, a species we've considered extinct for 5 centuries, have not only survived but developed technology beyond our understanding." "I report what I witnessed, High Counselor," Thelos replied, his bioluminescent patterns steady and calm despite his inner turmoil. "And these void harvesters, a threat that somehow only humans can detect." The Saurian representative hissed, tail lashing against his seat. "Convenient that this supposed danger requires us to surrender our most valuable quantum crystals." Coalition Security Director Nara, a Terabi whose ape limbs remained perfectly still in a show of control, leaned forward. "Admiral, could this be an elaborate deception? Perhaps these survivors seek revenge for our ancestors' decision to quarantine Earth rather than provide aid after the severance." Thelos had expected skepticism, but the outright dismissal troubled him. "I considered that possibility, Director. However, the technology we observed defies explanation, and the incident reports from our lost outposts align perfectly with the human description of these harvesters." "Coincidence or good intelligence gathering?" scoffed the Eurolon representative. Kreb, standing at Thelos' side, finally broke his silence. "With respect, counselors, I too doubted the humans' claims, but I have reviewed the data from our lost outposts. In each case, we detected unusual spatial distortions before communications failed. The pattern matches what the humans showed us." Before the council could respond, the chamber doors slid open. A Coalition officer rushed in, her scales flashing urgent patterns. "Forgive the interruption, counselors, but we've detected an unregistered vessel approaching Centauri Prime." The security feeds activated, showing a sleek ship unlike any in the Coalition fleet. Its hull seemed to shimmer, as though not entirely present in normal space. "Impossible," breathed the Terabi security director. "Nothing could penetrate our defense grid without detection. It's a human vessel," Thelos realized, recognizing the design principles from Earth's hangar bay. A transmission cut through the chamber's communication system without authorization. "Coalition Council, this is Director Ilara Voss of Earth. Your defensive systems are impressive but insufficient for what's coming. We've come to offer proof of our claims, permission to land, and present evidence directly to the Council. 2 hours later, Ilara Voss stood before the Coalition Council, flanked by 2 human companions. One was a tall man with skin so pale it was nearly translucent, his eyes concealed behind specialized goggles. The other was shorter, darker, with intricate silver patterns embedded in her skin that seemed to shift and move of their own accord. This is Dr. Marcus Chen, our foremost expert on dimensional physics, Ilara introduced the tall man, and Commander Zoya Karim, head of our defense division. Ilara gestured to Commander Karim, who stepped forward and activated a small device. A holographic display formed in the center of the chamber, showing star maps of regions at the edge of Coalition space. 3 Coalition outposts have gone silent in the past decade, Karim said, her voice steady. Helios Station, Proxima Outpost, and New Horizon Colony. Your official reports classify these as communications failures due to spatial anomalies. The truth is more troubling. The hologram zoomed in on the Helios system, showing a time-lapse recording. The Council watched in silence as a strange distortion appeared at the system's edge, gradually expanding until it enveloped the entire star system. Then, shockingly, the star itself seemed to stutter and blink out, leaving nothing but empty space. This footage was captured by one of our long-range observers, Ilara explained. We've been monitoring these incursions for over a century. Impossible, the Meridian counselor whispered. Our outpost in that system reported spatial distortions, then went silent, but nothing could consume an entire star system. Dr. Chen spoke for the first time, his voice surprisingly deep and resonant. The void harvesters exist partially outside normal spacetime. They don't consume matter in the conventional sense. They collapse reality itself, pulling everything into what we call null space. He removed his goggles, revealing eyes that weren't eyes at all. Where optical organs should have been, strange patterns of light and darkness swirled in empty sockets. Several counselors gasped or made sounds of distress. During the severance, Chen continued calmly. Certain weapons were deployed that damaged the barrier between dimensions. Some of us were exposed to null space. It changed us, gave us the ability to perceive what exists beyond conventional reality. Thelos found himself believing the humans, despite the fantastical nature of their claims. You said these harvesters would reach Coalition core worlds within 3 years. How can you be certain? Karim adjusted the hologram, showing the progression of distortions across space. Their movement patterns became predictable once we understood how they navigate between dimensional barriers. This simulation is based on 300 years of observations. The Council watched as the simulation played forward, showing the distortion spreading inexorably toward the heart of Coalition space. And your Nexus shield? Asked the Saurian representative, sounding less hostile than before. How would it stop these entities? Ilara nodded to Dr. Chen, who projected a new hologram showing the interlocking rings Thelos had seen on Earth. The Nexus shield creates a dimensional barrier similar to the one protecting Earth, but on a much larger scale, Chen explained. It doesn't destroy the harvesters. We don't know if that's even possible, but it prevents them from collapsing reality within the protected zone. With enough quantum crystals, we could create a shield encompassing all Coalition worlds. Security Director Nera's 8 limbs moved in a pattern indicating deep thought. If what you say is true, why did Earth wait until now to warn us? These harvesters have been consuming systems for a century by your own admission. We needed to be certain of our solutions, Ilara replied. And frankly, we needed to determine if the Coalition was worth saving. Her bluntness caused murmurs around the chamber. 500 years ago, when Earth tore itself apart, the Coalition chose quarantine over aid, she continued. We understand the decision. Your ancestors feared what had happened might spread. But understand our perspective. We survived extinction through our own innovation and resilience. We wanted to be certain the Coalition possessed those same qualities before we shared our technology. And now you are certain. High Counselor Vex asked. No, Ilara said simply. But we've run out of time for certainty. The harvesters have altered their pattern, accelerating their approach. Our latest calculations give us months, not years. The chamber erupted in alarmed discussions until the High Counselor raised a crystalline hand for silence. Even if we believed you completely, Vex said, you must understand our hesitation. The quantum crystals power our communication network. Without them, our civilization would fragment. Commander Karim stepped forward. We anticipated your concerns. That's why we brought these. She opened a container to reveal 5 glowing objects that resembled the Coalition's quantum crystals, but pulsed with an inner light that shifted between colors. Dimensional resonance matrices, she explained. Our equivalent technology, but more efficient. Replace your existing crystals with these, and your communications network will function at 30% increased capacity. Then give us your crystals for the Nexus shield. Dr. Chen added, we're not asking you to trust us blindly. Test our matrices. Verify our claims about the harvesters, but do it quickly. 3 weeks later, Admiral Thelos stood on the bridge of the Coalition flagship Invincible Dawn, watching as a fleet of Earth vessels moved into formation alongside Coalition ships. The Joint Armada represented the largest assembly of military might in known history, all positioned around a distant star system where Earth's sensors had detected the first signs of a harvester incursion. Dimensional distortion detected, reported Celia from her station, exactly as the humans predicted. Thelos opened a channel to Ilara's vessel. Director, our sensors confirm the anomaly. On the view screen, Ilara nodded. The harvester is still forming its approach vector. Once it fully manifests, we'll have approximately 20 minutes to activate the Nexus shield. The Council had required proof before committing fully to the humans' plan. This controlled demonstration using a small-scale version of the Nexus shield would either validate Earth's warnings or expose them as an elaborate deception. Energy buildup at the anomaly center, Kreb announced. Something's coming through. The view screen showed space itself beginning to fold and distort, the stars behind the anomaly stretching and bending impossibly. Then, horrifyingly, a section of space simply vanished. Not darkness, not emptiness, a complete absence of reality approximately 10 kilometers across. Shield deployment in 3 minutes. Ilara's voice remained steady despite the nightmarish scene unfolding before them. The void is expanding, Celia reported, her scales paling to almost white. Current rate suggests total system consumption within 17 minutes. Thelos watched as Earth vessels moved into position around the anomaly, deploying the interlocking rings of the miniature Nexus shield. Each ring pulsed with energy as Coalition quantum crystals powered up within them. Activation sequence initiated, Commander Karim announced over the channel. The rings began to spin, creating a sphere of energy around the expanding void. For a terrible moment, nothing seemed to happen. The nothingness continued to grow. Then, gradually, the expansion slowed. It's working, breathed Kreb. The void's growth halted entirely, contained within the energy sphere created by the Nexus shield. For several tense minutes, the standoff continued, cosmic annihilation held at bay by human ingenuity. Phase 2, Ilara ordered. The ring's rotation speed increased. The energy sphere began to contract, pushing against the void. Impossibly, the nothingness began to recede, folding back on itself until it collapsed into a single point and vanished with a flash of light that momentarily blinded all sensors. When the systems recovered, normal space had been restored. The demonstration was irrefutable. 1 month later, Thelos stood with Ilara on Earth's surface, not within the underground complexes, but in an actual forest that had reclaimed what was once called the Pacific Northwest. The air was clean, filled with the scents of pine and earth. Above them, the massive rings of the full-scale Nexus shield were visible even in daylight, orbiting the planet in perfect synchronization. Construction of the galactic shield will begin next week, Ilara said, watching a bird hop from branch to branch. With full Coalition support, We should have the entire network operational within 6 months. Just in time, according to your calculations, Thelos noted. Ilara nodded. It will be close. What happens after? Thelos asked the question that had troubled him since the demonstration. Once the immediate threat is contained, what becomes of Earth and the Coalition? 500 years of separation won't disappear overnight. Ilara turned to face him, her blue eyes reflecting the forest canopy. That's the real test, isn't it? Not whether we can survive together, but whether we can live together. She gestured toward the sky, where the first Coalition settlement ships were visible entering Earth's atmosphere. Scientists and diplomats coming to study and learn from humanity's unique evolution. The severance taught us the ultimate price of conflict, she said. Perhaps the harvesters will teach all of us the ultimate value of cooperation. A transmission chimed on both their communicators, a report that the first Joint Earth Coalition research team had successfully tested a method to permanently close dimensional weak points. It seems we've already begun, Thelos observed. Ilara smiled, a genuine smile that finally reached her eyes. War comes at a price you'll regret. That was our warning. Perhaps peace comes with a reward we're only beginning to understand. Above them, the rings of the Nexus shield caught the sunlight, gleaming like a promise against the blue Earth sky. A shield built from human determination and Coalition resources, protecting not just a planet or a government, but the very concept of shared existence. A price worth paying, Thelos thought. A lesson worth learning, even if it took the threat of universal annihilation to teach it.